Okay, I will call to order the Public Works and Public Utilities Committee meeting. Attendance has been taken. Any comments from citizens?
Yeah, I have a couple. Oh, in reading through, okay, everybody knows I'm Linda Borman. In reading through the packet and stuff, the recycling that we're paying the county now is because nobody's wanting to use curbside. So are there that many people that are using curbside that it makes sense to continue with both of them?
Seems like there is, yes.
There's a lot of times it's on the ground.
Okay, well, the reason I'm asking, I mean, I brought this up with Matt a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was, that when they pick up the recycling, they use the trash compactor and it shatters the glass, which makes it unable to be recycled. And so it's like, is it worth it, I guess is the other question. I mean, if it can't be recycled, then why are we paying Danes to do it? If they're gonna crush it and put glass all over everything, which makes it unrecyclable.
There's the glasses in with the tin cans and plastic.
Newspapers, everything, unless they're not doing that anymore. But I know that originally that's the way they did it, because I had our windows open and I could hear them when they picked up the recycling and crush it, and that glass was exploding everywhere.
We'd have to talk to Danes and see.
It probably is at City of Columbia, because that's where I think he takes it down there and dumps it.
Well, see, the city of Columbia doesn't take glass anymore, and so that's the other question. I don't know, I'm just asking, I would just like, you know, I mean, whatever.
Or at least at the time that Matt responded to, they weren't taking it down.
If City of Columbia is not taking glass, then we need to find out, because it's being put into our bin.
Yeah. That's, you know, whatever. I mean, I just wanted to throw it out
They
there.
were, unless they've recently changed, they were taking glass and everything.
Okay. Okay, and the other question that I have is there's an agreement or some sort in there, or change on the people using the city's equipment. And that list has got a tremendous amount of stuff on there that, as far as I know, we don't even have.
No, it is the list from FEMA. And the reason that we looked at this as an option, this is not necessarily something we have to vote on today, but as an option, is because the last time, and I talked to Lynn at length about this, and he said it's a very time-consuming and cumbersome task to figure out what your equipment use is.
Oh, I understand that.
But that list that we had, it hasn't been updated since, what, 2008?
Back in 08. Yeah, I saw that.
We don't even
back
have
in-
half of the equipment, so
But I
in order.
mean, do we loan out air compressors?
We don't
and-
loan it out. This is what, whenever we do a job for someone, this is
Oh,
what we charge
okay.
off of.
I'm sorry. Never
Yeah.
mind.
It's a
So
fee.
I don't loan
The
it
way it read, it was
Yeah.
like,
It's a fee rate, that's what it is.
well, but the way it read, or to me reads, is that we loan our equipment out to other people.
There's
And
a lot
so
of
that's
that.
why I was
These
asking.
three people will tell you that they're the cheapest people around, and that's why everybody was more than happy to get a water line and go ahead and let us
Yeah.
fix it, or electric, and
Yeah.
so.
No, I thought that the way it read was that we were loaning our equipment out to other
There was
people.
a budget charging rate, right?
So that makes sense then. I didn't understand it that way. And one other question is, what kind of construction are we doing for the Avenue of Flags? Are we drilling holes for new flags?
No, that's for something separate that's in the, community.
Oh,
They
okay.
run out of places to store the flags.
Oh, I know
so-
that,
So
yeah.
we've sectioned off a little corner in there, currently got it sectioned off.
Yeah.
We're going to make a more semi-permanent wall, so that they'll have that whole area to be able to
Okay.
work on the flags.
I wasn't sure if they was digging more holes or.
No, it's just so they don't have to, right now, it's such a
It's a
small
pain,
confined
yeah.
space that they're having a hard time lifting those totes up high.
Yeah,
So-
okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no more comments from citizens, we'll close that section and move on to Public Works, activity report for the street departments in your packet. The only thing you want to call out on there?
It was a pretty average month. We, had some drainage work, action. Rebuilt one of our spreaders, probably one of the big things, just went through, replaced all the bearings, conveyor chains, and trying to get them upgraded. They haven't been done for a while. So just got parts for the other one, we'll get that done this week, so.
Anybody have any questions on that? Not anything else for streets?
I got a general statement, just while we're here. It gets overlooked. I was asked by the news people, but I want you guys to tell all your teams that you have out there that we appreciate what they do, that they walk out, they go, and they get in ditches, and they get up on poles in the middle of the rain, and electricity. And what you folks do is exemplary, it's great, and I think we have as good departments of people and leadership that we could have as a whole. Can we all be better at times? Sure, I can be, we all can be, but I tell you, I want you to know from me, I think from us, I'm speaking from us, thank you for keeping our lights on, our water running, our sewers working, everything going on in the city that we do, because it gets taken for granted until you don't have your lights, don't turn on, flip the switch, your toilet doesn't flush properly, or whatever it may be. So thank you all for what you do, and the street's not knocking your teeth out, so thank you.
Okay, under sanitation, it looks like we got an email, about the grant.
We got number 4, and we're in the top 6 of projects to be funded, so we should find out December 11th if we're going to get the funding for another recycling bin container. So whenever they swap ours out, they'll replace it with our own lettering, be much nicer.
Obviously, we underestimated ours by $800. We could have $800 in there if we didn't write it, and would be okay.
Okay, anything from storm sewer? No? Any other for public works? Okay, moving on to water and sewer. Activity report is in the packet. Matt, you wanna call out?
I had a couple decent sized projects, this month with, we took a fire hydrant out at Hubble, for some of their projects that they're doing off of North Street. It took a little bit of time and management to do that, had to make sure everything was shut down. And then, obviously the Riley Park subdivision, got all that water pipe put in, twice. And, everything went pretty smooth after we got everything figured out, so. Kind of getting that stuff tied in, and Mike and I had a roundtable, meeting with, multiple cities and municipalities around. We hosted it at the East Annex building. They were all pretty impressed with that building, that we had that as our resource, so. We did a little tour of the lagoon system. Mike spoke about the system and the upgrades that are one day going to take place. Went pretty well.
Good to hear. Anything for water? Sewer?
Next Monday night, Gary Davis from Bartlett and West will be here to kind of go over things on the project bond issue that we're working on, what the schedule is, and some things we need to touch base on to get things moving along, so.
Any other? No? Okay, moving on to electric. Activity reports in the packet. Jeff, anything you want to point out for us?
No, it's pretty basic, tree trimming, cutting trees down, still working on reading them, getting them underground. It's a matter of pulling wire over there now, hooking them up to the underground, the transformers are hot. And then sometime trying to get in there and get everything pulled down.
Under generation and purchase, we've got a third-party debtor agreement with NextEra.
Right, so basically, instead of Ameren billing us for our wholesale usage, NextEra is gonna take over that. I've had Sydney review this, and she reviewed our original contract, and she's okay with us signing this and entering into this agreement. It just changes who's going to bill us.
No change to rates or anything?
No.
like that? We need me to approve this tonight, or is this next?
No, next Monday.
Anything for distribution? Any other? Or the other update on lighting options along sidewalk? Between railroad tracks and South Columbia Street?
So just to keep you all up to date on this project, it's under the limit that we would need board approval, so it won't be for board approval next week. And we are going to move forward with this, but Jeff's been able to research options, and they found the best option for adding lighting along that sidewalk right there by the Columbia Railroad, just off of Columbia Street behind Reed Street, for under $2,000. So we had $5,000 in the budget, so we felt like this was a good
That'll be
option.
about 5 lights. There'll be one at each end at Britain and at where it starts off Rodney Griffin. And there'll be 3 lights between that point.
Good.
It'll be more than what they've got. I don't know. It'll be a constant project.
It's very dark when you walk through there.
It is.
It'll be a nice improvement. It's also, someone brought it up and we're able to fix it, so that's always good. Okay, under other, we've got the Director of Public Works and Utilities monthly report. Mike, anything you want to point out?
Well, working on budgets, prices for things that guys have requested be put on, see where we come in on that. Getting the building done, getting the signatures, and there's some planning going on with Chance Company on a couple of things. He'll have to shut some power off coming up here probably the first of the year when they're down. And a couple other projects we're talking about that we may have to help with or see where we end up with.
Some good projects. Okay, so the next item on the list is the equipment use policy update. Mrs. Warman brought up earlier. So,
Well, we're gonna go through this on line by line item.
Yeah.
We should argue this one.
Let's leave the line by line.
I think the rest of
Make
us
sure they're
will-
relevant.
Look at the time.
So this is copied directly from FEMA's 2019 schedule. So we can go through and eliminate things that we know that we are not going to have. But it really just encompasses everything. And like I said before, I talked with Lynn about this, and he said it takes a long time. That's why the equipment use was not updated very often. It's because it does take a lot of time to figure out everything.
Do they have a list like this every year that they, that we can update it every year?
Yeah.
Rather than never?
Right, exactly. And then that's why I thought maybe this might be an easier way. Now, Mike did notice a couple of things on there that are different that are lower than what we currently have, so we might,
Some of the pickups, and it's minimal on what the changes are there per mile charge and everything. And we'll have to read through on like Jeff's electric trucks. It just had a fee for just the aerial lift, but it didn't include the truck itself. So you have to add those two prices together to get to, it actually ended up being pretty close to where we're at now on his. Everything else would definitely get us up a lot closer to where we need to be. We need to look at his just a little bit.
That was gonna be my question, it was spot check, and I don't expect to review every line item, but if we took a half dozen or something like that and went through it, made sure it was reasonable.
yeah, we have, and so this might be something that would be better to push off till the January meeting to give us time to go through it with department heads a little bit more thoroughly.
Any other comments on that?
I do have a comment for the electric department. There are 2 lights up here at Rollins and Singleton Street that are apparently about to go out. They're blinking, flashing. Those are the new LED lights, and part of the reason for getting them was not only because they're cheaper electric-wise, but they're supposed to last longer. This doesn't seem to have lasted very long. Have we had a lot of problems with those?
We fixed 7 or 8 of them.
Okay.
I don't know how recent that was that you saw flash
Today,
today.
yes.
Part of it, Jeff knows, has been with the Christmas ornaments on there, it's catching more wind. And the way they installed those lights, they've had to go back and actually tighten just a lot of them, the fixtures.
And that
and
may be
roll.
the case with
I think
what's
that's
going
the
on here.
case, because they put a reducer in that socket so they can go to a smaller mobile bulb,
Right.
and it's floppy.
And the one is off more than it's on, but it does flicker. The other one is flickering all the time.
Which one?
And it, on the east side of the intersection, both sides of the street.
Right down here?
Yeah.
I'll take a look at them. A lot of it was application.
Well, I mean, it could, I was wondering if maybe it wasn't a problem with the installation, that they didn't get it tightened up. The other question I had is, I've noticed on the, substation over here on Jefferson, there's two lights over there that are yellow. Were they not converted to LEDs? Was there a reason for that?
That was not part of their
Okay,
agreement.
okay. I was just curious. Because when you're
I'm
driving down the
just kinda
street,
waiting for those to burn out, and then we'll go to.
but when you drive down the street, it's pretty obvious that those lights are different than the
Oh,
others.
yeah. But those LED lights like that are about $400 a piece.
Wait for them to burn out.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all I got.
Okay, so we are going into closed session for all three. Alderman Marcus?
I make a motion, we go into closed session, and during the meeting, the Board of Aldermen may elect to go into closed session and hold a closed vote, and the purpose of such closed session and closed vote shall be: one, is provided for under section 610.0211 of the revised statutes of Missouri for legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body in a confidential privileged communication between a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys. Two, as provided for under section 610.0212, leasing, purchase of sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction may adversely affect the legal consideration thereof. And three, as provided for under section 610.0213 of the revised statutes of Missouri for hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting a particular employee by a public governmental body. He needs a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Hudson,
Yes?
Alderman Rogers,
Yes.
Alderman Hagley,
Yeah.
Alderman Motley, Alderman Hudson. Oh, Alderman Wilkins,
4.
Alderman
As
Borman.
chairman, as chairman, you got two votes, yes.
I just like it, I think.
Go into open session.
And I second it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unanimous. Roll call vote.
Yeah, that's roll call vote.
I second the last tonight.
Yeah.
So I think I've seconded about everything.
Okay, so during our closed session, no votes were taken except to come back to open session. Brings us to As May Arise.
Yeah, I got one thing, real quick. Is there any way that we can think, we have a year to do this, about maybe doing something with Christmas lights downtown? I mean, can't do it this year, but, I mean, if we can somehow assist the businesses to make all white lights or something like that, I don't know if that's
Like
feasible.
lining the border of the building.
Something, I mean,
Just to kind of decorate.
So
Pep
maybe
Christmas
something like a cooperative thing, so
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, with
the
the
electric,
businesses.
the electric crew already does ours and they put up all of the other ones, so maybe if the businesses would purchase their own, then maybe we could help them put them
And
up.
we
Is that
can
what you're
assist
saying?
put-
Something
put
like
them
that?
We do the installation, they do the.
something like that, I
Or
mean,
it
is
looks
that,
like
is
the
that?
city building
Well,
here.
Richie's leaves theirs up year round, but there's might be dark next year.
Really?
That's all, I mean, that's it, I mean, it just pep up the Christmas spirit.
Well,
a
that's a
little
good
bit,
point. I think, you know, we have a square, it's very attractive, a nice place downtown. I think the more we do that, you know, it'd be nice to have some lights in it.
And I guess you could leave them up, couldn't you, once you put them up?
Show them.
There is.
Richie's
I
leaves
hate
theirs
it
up
when
very
people do that, we
Well,
did that
there's
this
a tree
year.
in the gazebo,
I know that.
and then they have that tree that they made out of lights in the middle. But they
That's
didn't-
all that Earl wants to do. We had some other things and he didn't want them.
That might be too much for them. right there.
Mormon surveying probably won't go along with it though.
It's not my building.
I just read it.
And speaking of Christmas, if you haven't seen Elf yet, at Coastal Performing Arts, they do an amazing job on my beard.
We gotta
I
go see
look
it.
just like them.
And they did an amazing job on the show, I highly recommend it.
But we
Oh, and
gotta
by the
go.
way, Santa and Mrs. Claus, you did a good job Saturday morning, I understand.
Yeah.
Any other Aspen arrives?
The city Christmas party is this Friday at the East Annex, starting at 6 p.m. I did double check, and if you all come, it's considered a holiday gathering, and we don't have to post a public meeting notice. You just can't discuss business while you're there. So just be in the holiday spirit and enjoy yourselves.
Just need the holiday.
Absolutely.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.